This is the VO Life Podcast. All about the ups and downs of being a voice actor in the real world. Casting sites, agents, marketing, using every resource to make sure we keep growing and reaching for more. We may not be superstars, but we're grinding our way up. From the occasional regional to the local 15 and everything in between, we are living the VO life. Join us weekly for recent happenings and interviews with the people who can help you on your walk through the VO life. Now, here's your host and fellow traveler, Troy Holden.
Hey, howdy ho, Troy Holden here for VO Life Podcast. And here we are, video. I'm going to put these up from time to time. Let's talk about November, what went on in November, and what we're going to be doing going forward to make next year even better. If you're in a slump, and I've seen several people posting on TikTok that they are kind of in a slump right now, join the club. I'm right there with you. It's been slow. I'm not concerned because looking at my accounts payable and what I got coming in, or accounts receivable, sorry. Thank God I don't have anything in accounts payable except what comes out each month. Source Connect, Zencaster, whatever. Not a lot. But anyway, accounts receivable, what I've got coming in looks fine for December. I've got a cushion, so to speak. I do know I have exceeded last year by a small percentage. I wanted it to be more, but it is what it is. I mean, a lot of people have said point blank they didn't increase at all. They were literally flat, about the same, or a little less. And I know a lot of people that are out there investing and starting up, you don't have to worry about all that because you have a plan for maybe next year or the year after is when you're going to ramp up and put all those tools to use. I salute you if you're out there doing that. And I know a couple of people, and I'm not going to say names, that I watch what they're doing and things are going to and what they're doing. And I am so envious you're able to do the VO thing that way. I wish I could have done that. But let's look back at November. November, as I said, was pretty flat for me. Well, really not that bad. I say it is. It was an average month. And because I had some above average months a little ways back, I think I just kept expecting it to go, you know, and that's what you expect. And when you're busy and business begets business, it usually does. But when it doesn't, we start the imposter syndrome, or we start the doubt, or we start thinking, what are we doing wrong? And I am the world's worst to go down the deepest rabbit holes of what's wrong. The first thing I did was I got out my Tina Marasco videos and I started watching them again and looking through my old notes. And I said, what am I not doing in auditions that I was doing? I said, well, wait a second. Let me go back and look here. I had like 4 things on pay to play in the last week that they reached out and said, we want to use you on this, and they haven't closed the jobs. They just said they were waiting to get somebody else's approval or whatever, but the jobs are still not closed. All 4 of them, I checked again the other day, and those may come to pass. I don't want to agitate those people too much and just I don't want to sound desperate. Oh, am I going to get these jobs? I'm worried. Are you going to? I don't want to do that because something else will come along or something else will come along. And oddly, of all the platforms that where increase started happening out of the blue in really good paying stuff, because I had jacked my prices up yet again, was on Fiverr. I got a Google ad that paid really nicely, and I got another ad that was going to run over in the beautiful state of Hawaii for a fishing outfit. And that also was going to be a digital ad, and it paid great. And they both never questioned anything. They clicked the checkbox for the rates. They sent their script, and boom, there's the order for a good amount of money. And I'm going, man, I wish it was that easy all the time. If there's anything people can despise about Fiverr, I get it. I totally get it. There's things I despise about it. But for a good client to go on there and correctly do his word count, which I know word count has nothing to do with it. It's just the base of what they use. You have to do it. They do their word count and then they go down there and get their usage. And if you get your word count ratio up there high enough and then they don't choose usage and you look at the copy and you go, whoa, wait a minute. This is an ad. This is a paid ad. You're going to have to pay for the rights. And they go, well, we know. We just didn't know which one. We were going to wait till you got it and looked at it and tell us what we need. And then you ask the questions. Where is it running? How long is it running? And when they answer you truthfully and you go, it's going to be this, 9 times out of 10, they go, okay, fine. Send me the what they call an extra. Send me the extra for it and I'll take care of it. And they always do. Like a lot of people, they're not out to get you. They don't want to take anything away. Some of them just don't know. It could be, their first time to do this. And I do notice I get several first-time buyers on there. And I got no problem with that because I'm going to customer service them to death and hope they come back to me again. And a lot of them do. That was where November was weird because Fiverr jumped up from about 8% to 25% of my business. My direct business jumped backwards substantially. Oddly, it's always been 50, 60%. It dropped back to about 30. And I don't remember. I posted the numbers and I just don't remember exactly. But if you saw those, you could see it was a weird month for me as far as what came in and what got paid for. And remember, I go by my accounts receivable, what comes in that month, what got paid. And I could have voiced it this month. I could have voiced it last month. There's that time when it could be 2-3 months ago. I've got a couple things out there hanging that I'm waiting on. And oddly, those are always, those are always usually agent jobs because those take longer to get paid for typically 60 days, sometimes longer. So that's what November was for me going into December. What are you going to do now? Well, I am looking at next year is a huge political year. I think we all are, and we know there's going to be a ton of money spent on political ads. But where do I niche target? Where do I market to get the most I can get? I don't need to go to the Republican National Convention stuff, that level. I'm not going to be voicing a presidential campaign spot. Could a miracle happen? Sure, but that's not likely to happen. That's going to be left for the people that are established and are already doing that, have done it before. Those folks are going to go back to them. But there are so many local races, state races, things going on, Tennessee, Georgia, Kentucky, Alabama, where this voice might be very acceptable to them because they want it to sound warm. They want it to sound down home. They want it to sound local because it is pretty much a local thing. So I'm already looking at a lot of states as to, is there a gubernatorial race? We all know the House races are happening across the board. Are they having Senate races? Are there major cities having maybe mayoral or anything going on? So then I'm going to start digging into who do I need to reach to get to that person's campaign and this person. And I'm going to tell you, there's nothing better than picking up the phone and, hey, my name's Troy Hilton. I'm a voice actor. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. I see that so-and-so is running for office this year. Can you tell me who will be handling some of his radio and TV ads or his marketing? Because I'd really like to reach out to that company and see if I can help. I really believe in what you guys are doing, and I really think I could help. They heard me say something about being a voice actor, but what they mainly heard me say was, I really want to help. I really like to help. And you'll likely get a lead that way. So there's your marketing tip. Boy, I haven't really got this stuff going on. And I'm going to touch on that in just a second. There's your marketing tip for political. And that's one way you can do it. Yes, there's a million ways you can go get somebody to get you list and whatever and email and whatever. But as great as email marketing can be, it's also impersonal to a point to where people can read it and forget about it, and you keep hitting their inbox and they're going, yeah, it's that guy again. Yeah, it's that guy again. And they may listen and they may not. I see all over the place as far as who opens it, who listens, who deletes it, who comes off the list. It's all over the place. So it's hit or miss. It's a numbers game. You just got to get the numbers out there. All right, let me go back to the that part. Most of you know I started on a BiPAP machine, which is a version of a CPAP machine. It is for people that are technically in way worse condition that needed a CPAP, but they go to BiPAP because it does more for you. So I guess that's what I was told. I started out, it was rough. They had it turned up too powerfully. They turned it down. I started adjusting. I started sleeping 6, 7, 8 hours a night with it. Started getting energy, feeling a little better. What I did notice, it's drying me out a little. It has a humidifier on it, but if I turn it up where I'd really like it to be, it likes to make noises like my Samsung refrigerator. I'll never buy another Samsung refrigerator. It starts gurgling the water and making noise, and then sometimes it'll blast some water in there and it goes all over my face, and I'm like, all right. So I had to turn it back down. But I did a TikTok video, and I apologize, it was gross, using the Novemeber, where you hold that thing up to your nose and it goes up one side and vacuums out the other side. And I've had that thing for 2 years. Linda Bruno, hey Linda, and she's going to be on the Another VO podcast sometime in January. She had recommended it a long time ago, and when she was talking about it, so I thought, I got to try that. And I could never get it to work. I could never get the stuff to go into the bottom container. It wasn't pulling it out. It was like it was all going down my throat. And I'm like, well, what good is that? And so I finally gave up on it, put it away in the box. And we did a podcast with J. Rodney Turner the other day, and he talked about it's part of his daily routine. And I thought, I got to get that thing back out. I'm not using it right. I watched a YouTube video. I went back, tried it again. I didn't do spectacular with it, but it worked. And so I said, all right, starting Monday, I'm recording this over the weekend. Starting Monday, I will go to this thing religiously every morning, and I may even do it again at night before I go to bed. And hopefully it will keep things opened up and a little cleaner and clearer, and I'll feel that when I put my nose thing on at night and it blows the air in. I'm also using the 2 sprays my doctor gave me versus using Afrin. I stopped Afrin quite a while back. I will occasionally, if I am just completely locked up, I'll go back and use the Afrin. I'm not supposed to, I know, but sometimes you gotta. So some of my other routines are terrible, and I won't go into a lot of the stuff about vocal health. Yes, do your warm ups, but I'm the world's worst. I don't hydrate enough. Most days I don't feel like I'm having to use my voice. What am I saying? Am I crazy? I'm a voice actor. But some days I don't feel like I'm using it that much. I put a couple of water bottles in here, try to keep 2 in here at all times. I try to make sure I drink at least one of them a day, because I'm also drinking this monster cup of coffee, sometimes twice, I know, with a little creamer in it. I know you're not supposed to do that, but Dan Friedman said don't give up your vices like that, so I'm not. And another coach of mine, my old buddy J.J. Wilson, said, just get up, smoke a couple cigarettes, and drink a couple Pepsis, you'll be fine. That wouldn't work for me. I don't smoke, and I can't drink Pepsi either, but I get it. I mean, whatever keeps that thing that you can do that. Keep it. So I'm just trying to hydrate a little more, use the Novemeber, because this is the season. I'm usually between October and Christmas is my danger zone. I can come down with a really bad sinus infection. So far, nothing. But I've got a little of this dryness and raspy stuff going on. I had a little stomach bug last week, which caused that. You may can see that. I had a little cold sore come up, and every time I get something on my stomach, I always get a cold sore with it. But it makes me a little raspy. The BiPAP does early, and this is being recorded early. By 11 o'clock or so, I usually clear out. I sound better. I'm okay, but it is what it is. So I'm going to start on that path of repetitively using that machine. We'll see how that goes. We'll talk about that maybe next time. Trying to take a little better care of all of that, because it's important. We have to. And, where it comes back to bite you is you record something and somebody comes back 2 weeks later and wants to make a change, and you're no longer clear and resonant, and you don't sound the same. And it's like it doesn't sound the same, and all you can say is, I got a little sinus infection. If you want me to go back and re-record all of it, but usually that doesn't happen. They usually just kind of let it go anyway. But sometimes you can play with it a little in post and get it close enough. But take care of your throat, take care of your voice, take care of your sinuses, hydrate. And my other thing I try to live by in the booth is lip moisturizer. I was going to say chapstick, but I don't use chapstick. I use the Vaseline. You can probably see that. The Vaseline stuff, it's a lot greasier, I guess is the word. It stays on better. And what I noticed with using that is I have a lot less problems where my F's and S's whistle. I have an issue with F's, especially if I'm saying words like freedom and forthright and whatever with an F. When I go to push the F, it'll make a sizzly on there, and I have to go back and edit some of those and squash them. Because some of them are really, really bad. But if I put that on, and what that's caused by is my lip kind of sticking to my teeth just a little and then when I like that, it stays down too far instead of lifting up to let that air out. And this makes a difference. I'm a closed mouth talker. You can see that by watching me. I don't open my mouth real wide when I talk. And that's part of it, I think. I don't get my mouth wide open enough, and I should do better at that. But that's another podcast, I guess. So we've covered November. We've talked about what's coming up for next year and the focus on political. And I'm just going to keep focusing on everything I focused on this last year with a little more intensity. I truly did not start hard marketing till March or April of this year. Really going after it, really trying to build more lists. I am currently partnering with someone on a VA to is that the correct term? Yeah, virtual assistant. I was like, VA voice, what? VA's voice actor, voice assistant? No, virtual assistant. And they are doing a lot of the data mining. I am still doing all my stuff, putting it into my CRM. I'm still doing all my emailing. I have time for that right now. I hope the day comes I don't, and I have to say, hey, VA, I need you to do this. I have not done a good, consistent job with social media. I don't really know how important it is in some ways. I love to goof around on TikTok. I don't know if I want to continue to do that or not. I don't know what benefit it really is. If at all. But it is fun to do, and I enjoy that, especially when I can do stuff outside and it has to do with my farm or stuff like that. Dropping all the VO stuff, I don't know. I don't know that really helps anybody. I don't know that it matters. You usually get a couple, 300 views. I don't know. But we'll continue podcasting. Do enjoy podcasting. I started another one called, was it like No Way I'm 60 or whatever it was called. I'm probably going to squash it. I think I just had this thing in my head because I'd turned 60 and I wanted to do that. And it's so hard to get a podcast up and going. I'm probably just going to kill it. I don't have time for it. I can't put the effort into it. And I want to put more effort into another VO podcast and VO Life to make sure those sustain and get information out that people can use. And that will be my contribution, trying to help and wearing these shirts because, they're cool. And people in the grocery store go, what's VO Life? I always like answering those questions. Well, because I do this for a living. Oh, that's so cool. And then you always hope they don't go, always wanted to do that. How do I get started? Okay. Anyway, I hope that's a good catch up for you. I hope that helps you in some way as you're getting ready for, we're into almost mid-December. Things are going to shut down pretty quickly as far as being super busy and a lot going on. I've already shut my marketing down. I don't want to be bothering people right now because I think they're not half paying attention to it. So I'll start back up second week of January and get back after it. And probably we'll take a break from everything from now until about the second week of January, other than just getting work done and like I said, planning and prepping for next year. And then there's always the end of year stuff. And I usually do that between Christmas and New Year's. Because it's kind of a good time. It's usually slow, and I want to stay focused and busy, and that's when I start organizing all my expenses and everything I've paid out all year and getting all that into a spreadsheet and classified for my accountant. And some people say, why don't you use an accounting software? It'll do that for you. I love Excel. I put stuff in there religiously. It does just as good, and it's free. And that's what I use. It's just easy for me. Anyway, it's what I did all the time I worked other places. All right, well, let's move along. I've kept you folks long enough. We're in the 20-minute range, and that supposedly is the focus time for a good podcast, by 20 minutes, but I know some go longer. Hey, thanks a lot. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. I hope you have a great holiday. I will catch everyone next year right here on the VO Life. Bye. Happy New Year.
This podcast was produced under the authority of the Podcast Police, who may or may not have investigated the host and guests prior to broadcasting. Any unlawful statements will be investigated further and persecuted to the fullest extent of the podcast law.
Well, whistle me, Dixie.